All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're not just talking about a place you can visit. We're talking about a journey that really gets under your skin. It's a 7-day trek through Ladakh's Markha Valley, and it seems to have this profound transformative effect on pretty much everyone who walks it.
And this quote right here from the Trek guide Tsering, it just sets the whole tone, doesn't it? We've come back, but we're not the same people. This tells you right away this isn't about bragging rights or finishing a trail. It's about some kind of deep, internal shift that happens out there.
So what is it about this valley? Well, it's framed as more than just a beautiful hike. It's a challenge. It's a trail that holds out this promise. A promise that you might just meet a completely different version of yourself by the time you're done. But before you get to any kind of revelation, there's a cost. The journey doesn't start with quiet contemplation. Nope, it starts with a raw, physical battle that pushes you right to the edge of what you think you can handle. And this is a really key insight they all shared. Before they could find any kind of mental peace, they first had to face this massive physical hardship. You know, the transformation really began by breaking the body down first.
I mean, this is how real it gets. One of the trekkers, Bernard, just puts it so bluntly. My body was crying on day 3. Think about that. Just 3 days into a 7-day trip, and he's already at his absolute limit. It tells you the valley demands a steep price right from the get-go.
And then you have this from another trekker, Brigitte, which I just love. It's this amazing paradox. My legs are alive but also dead. It's that feeling, isn't it? Of being utterly exhausted but somehow feeling more alive and more present than ever before. You're pushing past your old limits. So here's the crucial thing to understand, that physical pain, it isn't just an obstacle. It's actually a core part of the experience. It's what makes the whole thing meaningful. Like the guide, Tsering, said, if there was no struggle, the story wouldn't even be worth telling. And then, after that intense physical test, something changes. A corner gets turned. This is the real pivot point in their story, where the focus shifts from that outward physical fight to a deep internal quiet that just starts to take over. And this moment from Brigitte just captures that shift perfectly. She's watching a sunrise on day 4 and realizes all the noise of her normal life, the pings from emails, the scrolling through Instagram, all of it, it just vanished. And in that quiet, she found herself again. A part of herself, she said, that she had totally forgotten existed. This idea becomes the central lesson of the entire trek. Bernard talked about how it started with that classic fear. What if I can't finish this? But out there, the valley taught him to change the question. The goal wasn't to conquer a trail. The goal was to walk to feel. It was about being 100% present, right there, in that single moment. So as their mindsets started to shift, the environment itself kind of stepped in as the teacher. The valley started offering these profound lessons, not through words, but just through its own rhythm, its sheer scale and its overwhelming silence. This comparison just lays it all out so clearly. On one side, you have city life, right? It's all about rushing, proving yourself, constantly chasing the next thing, the next bit of noise. And then you have the valley's way, waiting, just being, and actually listening to the silence. It's a complete flip of our modern priorities. Their guide, Tsering, puts this wisdom into words so perfectly here. The mountains, they don't care about your job title or your 5-year plan or how successful you are. They're not impressed. They don't ask for performance. They just ask for your presence. They just want you to show up. So after all of it, after the freezing river crossings and the climbs that leave you breathless, after the pain and then the peace, what's left? This is really the heart of it all. This idea that a meaningful exchange happened out there in the wilderness. And here's the proof of that change. Bernard describes it as a trade. He says he literally left a piece of his old self behind on those trails. Maybe the anxiety, the hurry, the stress. And in return, he found a quieter, more centered Bernard to take home with him. Tsering calls this the magic of the mountains. And it's the central theme, really. It's this idea that these huge, wild places perform a kind of spiritual alchemy. They strip away all the non-essential stuff, the ego, the noise, and in return, they give you back something you desperately needed. And that brings us to the final thought here. The guide says the mountains give you not what you want, but what you need. For these trekkers, it was presence, it was peace. And so that leaves a question for us to think about, right?
What is it that you need to find?